Hey, what's up everybody? Chris here. I thought I'd switch up my location for this video. I just went to a movie theater for the first time in a year and a half, maybe a little bit longer, I guess, depending on when that may have been last time. But it was a really good experience to get back into the theater. I think just sort of that atmosphere, just the smell of the theater when you walk in, I really miss that a lot. And I've been waiting for a movie to kind of sort of, recreate that experience or sort of have that experience again after such a long hiatus, so to speak. So I've been really excited about and waiting for A Quiet Place Part 2. And so I just saw that. I'm going to give you my sort of quick and dirty review. Hey, as always, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and please be sure to subscribe. So I really enjoyed A Quiet Place Part 1, the first movie. I thought it was really well executed, and I think one of the best compliments I've seen of that movie is that it has no fat on it, right? It's really sort of a lean piece of cinema in that it gets right into the story, and John Krasinski, if I'm saying it correctly, from The Office is what everybody knows him from, but he's a really talented director. He can build tension like nobody else. And really, A Quiet Place Part 2 picks up almost exactly where the first movie ended, even though you do get kind of a flashback to show sort of day one of what this attack looked like with these creatures, and you get a little more context there too. And so I'm getting into spoiler territory, so if you don't want any spoilers, please be sure to navigate away from the video until you've seen the movie. But they are aliens, and I think that that's hinted at a lot in the first movie, but here it's really confirmed. And there's a really nice scene again early on where this whole thing sort of starts on Earth, right? With sort of a meteorite crashing down in the distance, and a normal day at the ballpark with a family turns into just complete and total chaos. And so, like the first movie, without getting into too much detail and too many spoilers, there's a lot of that same sort of stuff here where the tension is just sort of slowly amped up, and there's a lot of a slow burn sort of effect that you get here. But as the movie sort of progresses and you start to see a little bit more about what's happened to society as a result of this invasion and this attack, you start to really become even more invested in these characters, right? I mean, I think having seen the first movie, a lot of people really cared about this family and wanted to see what happened with them. Here you're introduced to a little bit more in regards to society, right? On the one hand, you got a society that has really sort of devolved into survival of the fittest, and it's super creepy. There's an encounter with these people that are part of this world that has been sort of, thrown amok or run amok by these creatures who essentially are sort of no holds barred, anything goes, survival of the fittest, right? And so there's a really creepy scene near a dock with Cillian Murphy's character, who turns out to be a really close friend of the family from the first movie, and of course the family that's the central focus of this movie, who is trying to help the deaf daughter whose character's name I just cannot remember at the moment. But anyway, trying to help that character, sort of follow up on a lead she had discovered about where society may be still sort of operating in a normal capacity. But these sort of, really creepy people emerge from this dock, and without saying a word, you just get a sense of the danger, this sort of part of that scenario. And so that was really cool. Even though, weirdly, in this scene, they're in a town, it's a coastal town in New York somewhere, there are streetlights on, and so it's never really addressed how electricity is still working in this town. Maybe it's sort of implied that these people who inhabit sort of the burned out remains of this area have somehow gotten electricity working, but that was a little bit of a weird oversight to me. But I mean, just given how much attention there is to detail with so much other stuff in the movie. But then on the flip side, you discover that there is really sort of a neighborhood that exists on this small island, and you learn that the creatures cannot swim, right? And so they're safe. But of course, one of the creatures, in trying to follow Cillian Murphy's character and the young actress's character, the deaf character, ends up on the island. And of course, a lot of insanity ensues and the tension is built. But what's really nice about the directing here is you've got sort of a tri-cut or a double cut kind of scene where the tension is building, where one creature is stalking Emily Blunt's character and the baby and the son, and then another creature is stalking Cillian Murphy and the other actress, who were in a totally different location. But overall, a great movie. It was pretty much exactly what I wanted from a sequel to the first movie. It did everything right. It's well directed. Again, it felt like a natural extension of that movie. Of course, it's not as novel seeing this thing a second time as it was the first time, but it works really well on just about every level. So anyway, that's my review of A Quiet Place Part 2. If you've seen it, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching.